Welcome everybody to Grub with Gruber, the show where I dish with amazing guests over amazing dishes. Today, I'm in Bavaro at Herman 311 and Caboclo, incredible restaurants here, kind of in the middle of it across from Princess Resorts. And I had an incredible conversation with my buddy, Eduardo. Eduardo is a Dominican resident, lives very close to me, and we share something that we both left high-paying jobs. And we're gonna dive into that. In Eduardo's case, he's been here for 13 years, and he quit a job making almost $1 million a year. Wait till you hear how, wait till you hear how quickly, and wait till you hear what he did after he quit his job. Special thanks to Herman 311. Come check this place out. I hope you do. I hope you come down here, come to this restaurant, try all the dishes you're gonna see in here. And at the end of the video, if you stay through it, please do. We're gonna tell you which of the dishes each of us loved the most. Thanks for watching Grub with Gruber. Let's go dive in.
Son unas peras cocidas al vino tinto con un toquecito de blue cheese para sentar y limpiar el paladar. Que lo disfruten.
Gracias, Robert. Appreciate it. Thank you. Gracias. All right, you have to translate.
Okay. I have okay, I will ask him to repeat it again because I didn't pay a lot of attention. I just said food.
¿En inglés qué es?
Pera. It's pear? Pear with blue cheese. With wine. Okay.
Interesting.
This is great. I had fish retention.
I like it. I like how you played it off. That's good. It's like when you introduce yourself sometimes and the other person says their name and you've instantly forgotten their name.
Yeah, it happens, yeah.
I do that all the time. I do this with a spoon. Let's do it this way. That's a pear?
Pear.
With wine.
That's different. I'll be honest. I was like, I don't like pears. That doesn't taste like a pear. You moved here 13 years ago. Where did you move from?
I moved from Cancun, Mexico.
You're from there originally?
Yeah, I'm Mexican. I'm originally from Mexico City.
Mexico City,
But I moved to Mexico with my parents when I was only 10 years old. And my father used to have a little hotel in Tulum.
Oh, wow.
In Tulum area.
Wow.
Before Tulum was Tulum, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It was like a really, truly hippie place. Like hippie, the real deal hippie. Not hipster, rich hippies, no. Like real hippie style. And he bought this restaurant with it was like two hectares. I don't know what's that in acres, but it was 20,000 square meters, ocean front.
Wow.
Very cheap. He bought it and he started opening these bungalows and he did great. He sold it, but I stayed in Cancun studying touristic business management. And then I started working in the timeshare field. I was a salesman in
Selling
timeshare at the Moon Palace. Then they opened a hotel here and they shipped me here like, hey, you wanna go for 9 months? We just opened this hotel that is gonna be branded as Hard Rock.
Oh, Hard Rock.
So I said, yeah, why not 9 months? They were paying me everything, you know, like airfare, food, everything. And I was like 27, 28, something like that. So I said, yeah, let's go. And still 9 months here. Wow. Yeah, 9 months turned to be 30 years.
That's so funny. I hear that from so many people. I came here for a year. We were one. We came here for a year. We stayed. We were here for a year. We stayed 8 years. We've been here 8 years or whatever. But you were here. You're making good income. Like a lot of people talk about the Dominican Republic. Wages are really low, and people always ask me like, what's an industry there where like it pays well? And I don't know that there is like one. Like I think about the States. Like if you get into customer service, you can make $40,000 a year. But I don't think that's here. But then you can get jobs that pay really well in the sales and tourism industry, right?
Yeah, exactly. That one is. I mean, sales in general, you can make a lot of money. You know, if you come here and you get in the real estate business, which right now is hot here, I'm sure you can be having a really, really good income here in Dominican Republic. In vacation club or timeshare, wherever you go, and if you're a good salesman, I mean, you can make a lot of money. Yeah. And also depends the hotel that you work. There are hotels like the one I was working, which is the Hard Rock. It's a great place to go. Many people have that business, like they think it's like a shady business, you know? And it's like everything. There are companies that they work in a shady way and they tell their salespeople, hey, lie. It doesn't matter as much as you make a sale, but there are companies like the one I was working, which is very strict, you know? Yeah. You work under some standards, so you have to be, I mean, there's no lie because the product is so good that it sells itself. But anyways, you can make a good money over there.
Yeah. Do you, when you say some places will like lie, I'm just curious if somebody's watching and saying, oh, I'm going to this hotel if I get a sales pitch, like what are some things to watch out for?
Well, man, it's not that the place it's bad itself. It's just that they don't control what the salespeople say.
Right.
You know, and sometimes you create a really good bond with the salesman, and you just believe what they say. And at the end, you don't read the contract. And 1 year later, you want to make a reservation. Ceviche. Yeah, that's a good one.
So you don't read the contract. Yep.
So you 1 year later, you make a phone call. You want to make a reservation, and no, sir, that week you cannot use it for high season. And they say like, damn, this guy never told me that.
Yeah.
And because they didn't check the contract. Those are the things that happen in general, you know?
That happened to us actually. We bought, I won't say where, but we brought a club membership at one of the big resorts, international, all over the place. And it was like, you get all of this and you get all of this. It's like, wow, all right, all of this, which was like the come stay for a discounted price, it worked out. We've done well with it. But there was another half, it was like, oh, you get to stay in luxury hotels. Oh, oof.
Vámonos.
Look at this. Oh, you can.
That looks good, huh?
You're not eating. I'm splitting that with you. That looks too good. And this you're splitting with me. Look at the ceviche. Gracias. Wow, beautiful. But yeah, so we bought this package, and the other half of it was like, oh, you can stay in these cities for like cheap or whatever. And never, ever was it available.
Yes.
It was high season. It was this. It was that. It just never worked. So we gave up on it. And we're like, wow, we did all right on the regular
in your home resort.
What they control, correct?
Exactly.
But all these other ones.
The trading, the RCI part, So also sometimes people buy that and you just put it in the drawer and you forget everything they told you, you know? And you just open it 10 months later when you want to make a reservation.
Right.
And you kind of remember that you can kind of book here. So, I mean, at the end, I felt really, really safe to be working in that company because it's not perfect, but it was a really good company, you know? And they always try to make it right. So I did that I was working for that company for 20 years. 20 years, and last year I decided to quit for personal reasons. I needed a break. I was 40 and I was 20 years working there, so half of my life doing the same. That was the thing actually that got me what I felt that connection with you when I knew your story, and I was remembering what was happening to me. I said, okay, these guys went something very similar to what happened to me.
We're gonna dive down that rabbit hole as well. Oh, thank you. So before we get to the quitting part, 'cause I want to get into that. What did you have opportunities at all over the last 13 years, or could you have gone elsewhere? Like why stay in DR? Was it just it was convenient, or was there any reason specifically that you stayed here?
Here in DR, I have found my new home, you know? I think that it made a good combination because I also met here my wife. My wife, she's not Dominican.
No, I know.
She's from Serbia.
Yeah.
So all of her family is in Serbia. All of my family is in Mexico, and we made this over a new place. You know, it was like the perfect average. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just love so much living here in Dominican Republic. Right now, after 13 years, and this is not BS, I feel right now more identified with the Dominican country.
Oh,
sí, gracias. With Dominican Republic rather than Mexico. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, it's not that I feel more Dominican than Mexican.
No,
but if I travel and I go overseas and they ask me, hey, where are you coming from?
Gracias.
I say, I come from Dominican Republic. And later on, I'm from Mexico, but I live there. So I feel my kids, Zoe, who she was born here, she says, I feel more Dominican, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I also didn't look for other opportunities. I was very, you know, like, my mind was very narrow to that business. So I was just waking up, work, produce. I was the director of sales. So I had, at the end, more than 200 people under my view.
Leadership,
under my leadership, which I really like, but it's very demanding. The day I quit, I left 55 chats.
Wow.
55 chats. Yeah, it was a non-stop thing. like every time the phone, because everything, you have to be aware of absolutely everything. All the couples that were invited, the volume, hitting the targets, issues with salespeople. So it was a lot.
55 WhatsApp chats?
55 WhatsApp chats.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
All going. All
going. Yeah, always my phone had messages without view,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was.
It was crazy. Yeah, it's not as sustainable, at least not for me. Maybe for somebody else, they can be doing that for the rest of their lives. But for me, it was no. And also, on my deeper self, in my soul, I just needed a break. I just wanted to something different. I wanted to change from my core. Quitting my job was what I saw was the way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna go deep on some stuff. But you gotta try the ceviche first.
A ver, let's do it.
Dive in. And this is ceviche picante? Ceviche picante con mango? Is that right? Anyone? Ceviche picante con mango?
Yes.
Sí. Gracias.
No, con piña, creo. It's with the pineapple.
Piña.
Yeah.
That's pineapple. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this real quick. This does look good. A little onion. Looks like cilantro.
Good?
Oh, there it is. I would say the kick kind of came a little later. It's not bad. It's like a nice, smooth, hot. Yeah, I think that's really good. Got a nice lime taste to it, which I guess limes and lemons are the same thing.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I don't get that. I still don't get that. When I go to the supermarket, my wife always says get lemons. I come back with the yellow lemons.
Here lemons are the green ones.
But those are limes.
Yeah.
But not
No,
her.
Yeah.
I think in 15 years I'd figure it out, but nah, still haven't. How long have you been married, by the way?
How long have you been married? I've been. I actually am not married. We've been living together.
Yeah, so you're married.
Exactly. But I don't have like exact date, but it's I think around 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm gonna have a little bit more before we continue on here. Ceviche.
And you, Jamie, how many years have you been married?
14. We've been together 15. Well, we're coming up on 14 in a couple of months. Will be 14 years. So flies by. It's crazy. Like I look at us and I think we still look the same. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you have the same thing. Like I know she's older, I'm older, but it doesn't feel different. You know what I mean? You just grow, I guess. But 14 years. I used to hear that number. I think, oh my God, a couple married 14, 15 years. Like that's a long time. I feel like we're just starting,
Yes.
So
my parents are about to turn 50 years together.
Yeah, mine hit that a couple of years ago. 70.
They're still together?
73, so 51. 72, so 52 years now they've been married. Yeah, and they're still together. Yeah, they were just here.
Wow. Oh yeah, I saw this video of your father. You were recording him in the barber shop.
Yeah.
And what did he say? Get out?
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Just full on Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, it was really cool.
All right, we got a bonus here. I'm going to try these shrimp cocktail. What's the sauce, I wonder? Smells nice.
Is it good?
I don't know how we're going to get through the other courses. There's a lot of food.
Yeah, man.
But yes, I think it's
Thank you for inviting me. It's a really good place.
Of course. Yeah, this is great. This is Eric. Eric from Three Makers, right over there. He found the place.
He's like,
hey, you got to go to this place. I know the owner. I know the manager. I'm like, cool. Well, let's do it. Oh, that's really good. All right. So far, for you watching, I can tell you, honestly, other than wine, just not my thing. You do what you want with wine. That's really good. The shrimp cocktail. That's really good and fresh. So on the menu, I think it was, there's a piña and there's a picante. We asked them to combine them, right?
Yeah, they mix it up. That's what she suggested.
Yeah, and it's really good. So if you come, do that. Tell them Jamie sent you. That'll do it. And then this, by the way, is my standard tequila old fashioned. What did you get?
I get a fruity drink. It's a passion fruit mojito, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a fruity drink guy.
Me too.
But you're a beer guy too. You'll drink beer?
Yeah, I'm also a beer guy.
I'm a huge beer guy. I can drink it, but it's got to be a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, and
light,
that's it.
Like a blue moon
or
something like that. Dude, I'm having one more of these. I'm sorry. This is really good. I almost took out the wine glass to get it. Yeah, get some. Get some.
So, man, this concept that you're doing right now is super original and interesting. How come you got that idea? You were in the shower and you were driving.
No.
What happened?
No. So how do I describe it? So I have a podcast, Tribe of Millionaires. You know about that. Tribe of Millionaires has an audience, a good audience. We get, whatever it is, 30, 40,000 audio downloads, 40 to 60,000 video downloads, 100,000. Let's just say 100,000 a month view, watch that podcast, and it's great. I've had a lot of fun with it. And then I've got this other side of what I do, which is like after moving here, I started to share about it, and a lot of people started to follow. The Dominican Republic, living down here, and what I've seen is the audience is not like random guy in Idaho. It's Dominican Americans, Dominican Canadians, Dominican Europeans who have probably been thinking like, I wonder what it's like to go back there. Or all I remember of the Dominican when I left was poverty and no running water and electricity pops off and on. They had that memory of it.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, well, I want the Dominican American, Dominican Canadian, Dominican European audience. I want them to care about the fact that I just interviewed Tito Ortiz, UFC fighter or whatever, but they don't. They're like, no, man, I'm watching you because I want to see what's life like in the Dominican.
Yeah.
So my coach I told you about, I said something about this thing I do in my community that I have. Abundance Emerge is my community. Every month we do a town hall, and it's called Grub with Gruber.
Yes.
We meet. Grub being like food with Gruber. I meet with them. I kind of share what's going on in the community since I run the community and all of that. My coach said, that's an interesting title for a YouTube series. And it was like, you ever see those in the movies when like the camera goes into your eye and you could see like all the neurons firing in the brain, right? You can picture that?
There's this meme of...
Right, it was like, wait a minute. What I could do, because at the core of it all, I love interviews. I love the podcast art. I love doing that. Like I had that moment in my brain where it all connected. It's like I love interviewing people and I love talking about where I live. I've fallen in love with the Dominican Republic. So it was like, well, what if I were to feature local restaurants to kind of show people like, this is real. This isn't like me sitting in my house doing videos, but like, this is what it really looks like in these different places. Interview interesting people that are here, local, that sort of thing. And at some point, one day, I hope Tito Ortiz wants to come down here and I interview him or whomever, right? Like that's the goal at some point. Mark Wahlberg, right? or Vin Diesel or whomever, as this gets traction. So if you're watching, subscribe because it helps. It helps grow this thing. But that was kind of the connection. It's like, that would be really cool. And I went into restaurants, had these interviews, great people, showed what it's like in DR, do some B-roll footage, and then do different meals. And there's a podcast called Hot Ones. It's a show where a guy interviews celebrities and they do escalating hot sauce on wings. So it'll start like low level and then goes to like a 10, like hot sauce. And you just watch the interview through the so for me, it was like, well, let's just do it with meals. Kind of Anthony Bourdain meets Hot Ones. So that's the story behind it.
Man.
Yeah, that's what that is. But so for you, you mentioned that you moved here. You sort of, like you said, like you feel like this is where you're at. Now you and your wife own a school.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about why. When did that come up, and what is the school all about? What are you doing with that? Or you and I shouldn't say your wife, but she's your wife essentially.
Yeah, she's my wife.
You and Giordana.
Look, I think you said the right question is the why. When you find like the purpose in life, you start doing things and things just go through naturally. It wasn't my purpose. It wasn't my idea. It was my wife's idea, and she always had that concern that education here, it was very, you have some limitations. And also choices in schools. It was just 1, 2, or 3, and that's it. And that's actually why we moved to Punta Cana, because all the schools were in that area, like the good schools, you know? So in the pandemic, she just had that idea, because we had this room, which right now is my studio. We did it like a little classroom, and we hired a teacher, and she was coming to give some school lessons to Zoe, my daughter, another 4 or 5 kids. So it was like a school time. So also that kind of ignited the idea, and we saw this video and documental about the Finnish education that is top in the world, like the Japanese Finnish education is top in the world. So when she started digging around, and she just came with the idea one day, I said, you know what, I think after the pandemic, people will need choices. So I think that would be a great opportunity to open a school. So she showed me everything she was already researching, made a lot of sense. And I said, okay, let's do it. And she shared that idea with a couple of her friends that both all of them work at the Hard Rock as well.
Yep.
So they say we're on board. So that's how she got two more people to be with her in the business.
Partners, yeah.
Partners, exactly.
Yep.
And that's actually how it happened.
Wow.
I was just I have been only supporting her. Yeah, let's do it. But the mastermind behind that, it's her.
Her, yeah.
Yeah. And she did it because she wanted a good school for our daughter.
Now, this
basically.
is Ikigai School.
Ikigai school.
Ikigai is Japanese for purpose, essentially.
Yes,
right?
exactly. It's like to find your Ikigai. It's like to find that balance between what you are good, what is good for society, and what you enjoy, and what is gonna give you some money. It's that conjunctions of all those two. Exactly, that's the Ikigai.
The center is Ikigai.
And we bought the franchise of these Finnish schools, which are called Sisu schools, which these guys are a Finnish system. In Finland, the education is free. But there are these companies that they package the know-how and they ship it around the world and they sell you the franchise.
Yeah.
So we found these guys from Sisu, which are great, and you pay a royalty fee, and they say they give you all the know-how, books, what to do, etc. So it's a really good backup,
Yeah.
And it's not all full Finnish; it's Finnish American. So because I know that here the Americans still what people care the most, So that gives the perfect balance.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how it happened.
And so now, right now, Ikigai is through fourth grade, I guess, right? So it's aged up through fourth grade.
It's going to be up to fourth next year.
Fourth. So every year it ages up, right? Until you hit 12th grade, and then you'll have the whole thing.
Exactly. It's growing organically.
Every
year we open a new grade.
And it's
right now.
Is there a wait list?
Yeah. There's a wait list.
Yeah.
For most of the grades, there is a wait list. Yeah. There are some that are few spots, but there's a big demand on the little ones, on the babies, which is great because those are. I mean, you have to have it's like the seats of the school, Those one have those grades have a waiting list. The ones that are third, fourth grade, I think we were talking about that yesterday. There are a few spots. But yeah, thankfully it's been really successful.
What's the youngest age in school?
It's like babies. Like I think 7-8 months.
Daycare age.
Yeah, like babies. Yeah.
That's what's cool about it though. Like there's so many different options. You've got your traditional heritage, Punta Cana International, Bavaro bilingual, kind of like your standard American style high schools or schools.
Yes.
Then you've got like Massimo Potenziale, you've got Ikigai, you've got these different options people aren't aware of here, right?
Yes,
like
exactly.
You talk about the development of the country and the development of Punta Cana in particular.
Exactly.
That's one of those things I think that people are like, oh wow, I didn't realize
you have that here.
It's a unique concept. Hold that thought. I hope you're enjoying this interview with Eduardo, but I want to show you around this amazing restaurant, Herman 311 and Caboclo next door. They're both the same restaurant group. You can order off of both menus and eat in either spot. And I'm going to introduce you to Rafael. Rafael's the sommelier here.
Hola.
And he also is going to give us a little bit of a tour. We're on the Caboclo side. You want to step inside?
Yeah.
Let's go in.
You're welcome.
Wow. What is the selection? How is it laid out?
Yeah, in Caboclo wines, they have several wines. This is the best selection of wine for all the country, Italia, Estados Unidos, Argentina, España, Chile. Caboclo wines, they have all selection of wine and different price and different quality. Okay, you get pensa? Oh, you better give me 5. Okay, I have the best. I have sparkly, Cristal.
Cristal? I feel like a rapper.
Cristal is the Caboclo. This is the number one. The classic Dom Perignon. More, I have all the price, all the quality. I come to visit Caboclo Taiwan at the best selection, the meats. I have the tomahawk, the churrasco, ribeye steak. Okay, and the best selection, the plate, surf and turf. Surf and turf is the steak and the ham lobster. Come, Caboclo wines, they have this.
We're going to get back inside, go check out some more of the meals that we're having over there with Eduardo. But I appreciate you, Rafael. Thanks for showing us around.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, this is the main, the lobster and the fish. Yeah, it's a number fish for you.
Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah. Right, especially the Herman one.
Thank you.
and the lobster.
Okay.
Lobster grilled in the garlic sauce. Okay.
It's too funny. I'm not, I like, again, wine, thank you. Gracias.
Gracias.
Lobster's not my go-to, but they were talking about their lobster. I'm like, I gotta try it.
You have to
The
try it.
size and
Now we're talking.
The fry.
Sí, tostones.
Thank you.
Perfecto, gracias.
Enjoy.
Let's dig this out. That is good.
It's good.
That is good. Okay, I gotta try a piece of your fish. Is that cool?
No.
Tell me what to do. I don't want to.
Just like all. You want me to cut it for you?
Cut me a piece. I'm gonna try this. We're gonna pop my cherry on Dominican fish right here.
Okay.
On Grub with Gruber. Give it a shot. Not that much.
Okay.
Yeah, he is, man, with that, right? Here's how you do it, I guess.
My suggestion: try one without lime or lemon, and then put it a little bit.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
Try it.
Try one without it,
Plain.
and then with a little lime. I like it with lime.
It's good.
Yeah.
He's professional.
He is. Let's try it with lime.
Solo se hace que no.
All right, I put some lime. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try it with lime. That soaks in really nicely.
No.
All right, I'm gonna make you talk a little bit here.
No, well.
You left your job in 2023, right? Are you a year out now? 1 year?
It's gonna be 1 year in July.
One? So yeah, we're recording in June. So you're as close to 1 year as you possibly can be without being at 1 year. And again, you were making, this wasn't a $50,000 a year job. You were making a good living. How did you prepare to leave? Was it saving? Did you have like another job that you were thinking about lining up? Like what was how did you make the move to leave?
Man, the move I did it in 1 day. It was a very emotional
Wait,
move.
you made the decision and did it
I
in
did
1
I
day?
did the decision on one Friday,
Yeah.
and then I quit it on Sunday. If my boss is looking this, I'm sorry, man. But yeah, it was like a really boom.
What was it? What broke?
I was having a personal crisis, to be honest with you. Like my emotions were not in the right place. I was being very driven by very shallow and not deep things in life.
Like what?
Like the atmosphere in sales could be very dark, you know? A lot of excesses could be, a lot also of substances. And I was putting more attention to those things rather than my family.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for 20 years, but still you never have the game on. And that's what I realized, you know, I was very proud to say, yeah, I've been doing this all my life. I have the control. I got this. And little by little, I was getting more out of what it really matters. Plus, my spirituality was death, you know. I never ever practiced absolutely anything spiritual. The first years of my life, I was proud to say that I'm an atheist. Then I was like a little open to believe that the energy, but I never gave some thoughts on that. Later, I discovered that if you don't have like whatever spirituality, whatever it is, spirituality gives you like a set of values that keep you grounded. And I didn't have that, you know. I was driven by money, by like stupid things.
You were worshiping material
stuff, you know, and I had I thank God I still have my family. We had some bad months. And when I remember that I was very I was in pain that day, and it was the first time in my life that I say, God help me, what do I have to do?
This is Friday.
Yeah, this was a Friday. I was crying, God help me, what can I do to become a better person, to save me, to save my family? And it was like a movie, man. I have this voice in my head saying, you have to quit your job. Like that. And I just turned around and I told my wife, you know what, I'm quitting my work. And she was like, are you serious? She said, yes. Why? Because that's right now what I find is the source of what is killing me, you know? I was working also, like I said, 55 chats from 8 a.m. to 5, 6 p.m. Most of the time. On my days off, I was checking on my phone all the time. Even in my days off, I have to be answering every single phone call. Don't get me wrong, I was doing like a lot of money. If I say how much money I was making, maybe people won't believe it, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like crazy money. And that also was like a big attachment that I had to this identity of who I am. You know, as men, we get attached a lot with this avatar of how much money you're making is the value that you put to yourself.
Sure.
You forget about many other important things like the avatar of a father, of a husband, of a member of the community, and those are very important as well.
Yeah.
But anyways, I have that idea, and on Sunday I went and I quit.
So nothing changed from Friday to Monday. No doubt, no moment of like, should I do this?
No. Even my coach, I have this lady that helps me out with. She doesn't live here. She lives in Mexico. She actually told me, no, hang on, don't rush it. I said, I don't care, man. It was something inside, and I did it. And
had you been thinking about it at all before that Friday? Everybody thinks about quitting their job. Don't get me wrong. But were you like building up to that Friday?
No, man.
It was just, I'm doing my job, and then on a Friday I'm out.
It was like that.
Six-figure gig.
Yeah. Almost seven.
Yeah.
Almost seven.
Almost seven.
Yeah. And I felt a little bit secure because I have some savings, but I had also moved good my savings, and I bought some properties in all these years. I had in Mexico, I had here. So in my head it was okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Plus the school is doing really good.
Sure.
But we don't count right now with the school because every single money that comes in, we reinvest it. So it was more like I felt that call because I needed this is going to sound very corny, but I needed to save myself. It was, and what I had, this voice was telling me, it was precisely that. You have to quit your job. When I quit it, obviously, weeks and even months later, I was like, what the hell did I do? Not every time, but I had these dark moments.
Sure.
So what did I do? I'm so stupid. How much money I was making. Right now, at this day, at June, I don't feel that at all, because I'm doing something that I never wanted to in my early days, to go and work in sales or to go to work in a hotel business or to become the best sales timeshare manager in the world. I love it. It's something of who I am. I had other dreams. That's why I started with the podcast, because I always wanted to study communication. That was my dream. But I didn't have the guts to do it. I was living in Cancun. Cancun is not known for having that industry. You have to do that in Mexico City. But I didn't know that 2 years later, in 2003, 2002, YouTube was gonna be a big thing.
Sure.
I didn't follow my path.
Sure.
And that's something right now I'm trying to communicate to people. You
man.
follow your passion. Be brave.
I feel like I was the same age, 21 when I started my career, and that was like the break from my core. This is the path that you're intended, whatever that is. God is intended, source, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And we all make a decision to diverge from it, but not all. Many people make a decision to diverge from it, right? Like, I'm going to get this job because it pays practically. This is just a dream, whatever. And it's okay for a while. You don't really feel it. It's like, it's like having like a little scratch on your finger, right? No big deal. But then the scratch grows into a sore, into a blister, into a whatever. And over time, 40-ish seems to be the age. I was the same.
Yeah.
You all of a sudden, like, I was supposed to be here and I'm way over here. And that's that Friday where you break down.
I said, no
so
more.
We're going to get into, because I want to hear, you went on a really interesting journey, and I want to get to that. But I have two quick questions for you. That voice you heard on Friday, what do you call that? What's the name of that voice?
Good, very good question, Jamie. I would say that if I had to say something, I would say it was a call from my soul, And in my soul, and I don't want that this answer sounds with a very egocentric. It's. I have found that within us, with you. This is my belief. There is God.
Yes.
I do not believe like a God that is this gentleman in the sky looking at us. I think that God is among us, that makes this connection with me, with you, with him, with her, with everything. And us ourselves, we're gods, and we can create or we can destroy. It depends on the conscience. What I felt that day was my soul. Man, you said right now something very important that I actually read in one book. That way is a way you kind of wound your soul. When you go to another path, or you follow something else, your soul is like, hey, Jamie, you shouldn't be selling insurance. You're a creative guy. What the hell are you doing here? And you keep 1, 2, 3, and you justify with a paycheck. Oh, say, oh, damn, I'm making this amount of money.
Yep.
I'm gonna do it one more year, and little by little, your soul gets hurt,
suppressed.
Yeah. Exactly. Until one day, depression, anxiety, substances, drugs, alcohol. Yep. You need that to level, to feel alive.
You're numbing, right?
Exactly,
and something, with whatever it is, sports on Sunday, food, alcohol, whatever, fantasy football, women,
crazy shopping. You don't stop shopping in Amazon. Those things are like to make you feel something, because you are like numb. So yeah, that's how I will say that. It was.
All right. Second question then. Mm-hmm. I'm curious. I said 6 figure. You said almost 7. And I'm just sensing this. Maybe I'm wrong. Have you ever said that before in public?
No, never.
How did that feel?
It's right now nothing. Nothing, because maybe if you asked me this question a year ago, I would be like, shit, But right now,
I don't mean like lost, but like, how does it feel? So I get it, like it is that, but how does it feel to say it publicly? Like, in other words, is there shame in it? Is there, not in like you left the job, but is there shame in saying, I made 7 figures, I feel shameful, like I'm gonna be judged for that? Is it, I'm gonna look stupid? Or is there just, no, I'm completely at peace with it?
No, right now I'm 100% in peace, because right now, look, most of people work to have and to reach a certain age and say, you know what, I want to have that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right now, I've been blessed, because as soon as I came back from this journey that you are going to ask me, many opportunities came to me, and right now I'm giving consulting. I'm consulting companies in sales and leadership, because I learned a lot over there, and I like it. It's my passion, to communicate and to help people, to inspire people. And right now I'm working 2 times a week, man, and I'm doing a good amount of money. Is that gonna be my end or my? No, I don't know. I'm right now very open, it's something I'm rebuilding myself.
That's hard.
And so far I'm doing that, and I'm happy. I get to wake up at certain time. I get to go to the gym. Like many times I see you there at 10 a.m.
9:30, 10.
No people, and I'm not making not even close what I was doing before, but. All this journey that I went through made me see that money is not the only thing, It's important, of course. Gives you certainty and gives you luxury. Obviously, I love to travel. I love to go to Europe once or twice a year. And I know I can be doing, maybe I'm not going to stay in a 5-diamond hotel that I used to stay, but I'm going to stay in a 4-star, which at the end is going to be the same, I don't know. I don't feel that like pressure or feeling ashamed. If it came back, it might come back. Sure. It might come back.
But if it comes back, it's aligned. It's aligned with what you are.
Aligned, and
right. It's more of an attraction, not a push, right?
Yes.
Like you're attracting the income by being you, not pushing against who you are in order to make the most money. That's just over time you just break. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Like you really do just break at a certain point where it's like, why aren't I happy?
Yeah.
I'm making a good living. I've got what I want, or I said I wanted. If I were to look back 5 years ago and show that 5 year ago self where I am now, like they'd be blown away by it, but I don't feel right. And it's probably because it's exhausting.
Yes.
You're carrying the wrong boulder up the hill, right? Like you need to align with yourself, put the boulder down.
Yes.
You talked about travel. You traveled once you quit your job.
Yes.
Tell me about that journey that you went on.
The day that I decided to quit that Friday, I told my wife, and you know what? I'm going to quit, but I think I need to leave this place. Because this place, everybody knows everybody,
True.
So I needed like a break. And I really wanted to go find a place where I can experience or dig or make research live in person about spirituality in general. And automatically came to my head, India. I said, India is like the place to go. You can find Buddhism, Hinduism, many other philosophies or religions.
Yes.
Isms, exactly. Actually, they have 7, like official. But I was more focused into the Buddhism and the Hinduism. And I told my wife, and she said, okay, go. And she asked me, how long are you going? And I said, I don't know. Most likely between 2 or 3 months. Are you okay with that? And she was like, imagine how I was for my wife to tell me, go 2-3 months, I mean, my wife she's open-minded, but at the end, it's my wife. It's not like the type of just go. But she knew I really needed it. This guy really needs it. I bought my one-way ticket, and I went August the 1st. I flew to India, to the south of India.
Wow.
And I stayed in India for 2 months and a half, man.
What'd you do there?
Everything, like a lot of really cool and interesting things. The first step was in the south in Kerala. That place is very famous, that area of India, for the Ayurvedic philosophy. Ayurveda, it's part of the Hinduism, you want to call it religion, philosophy, however. And what they do is they make you some questions to see in which they have 3 groups. I don't remember the name of the groups. They have a name in Hindu, but you belong to one of those 3, which is related to the elements. It could be fire, wind, or earth. And based on that, you have to eat certain food in order to be as healthy as you are. So they made me that research. I was like fire. I was, I think, Kappa. And you go to this nice hotel, and they have this buffet, and you go and you eat whatever is designed for you. And 2 hours a day, they make you this like another level massages, like really, really, really cool, something specific. You can buy over there like different packages, like the anti-aging package, detox package, stress package. I don't remember the others. I went for the detox. So I went for a detox. I was eating lean, and I was doing yoga. That was for 2 weeks. Yeah. And I was like a super, very deep cleaning of my body. It was really, really cool. That was really, really good.
And now after that, if I'm not mistaken, you went to Chile?
No. I went to Peru. But in India, that was in the south. I went on my way to the north. Yeah. I did many things, but to highlight the most impressive things I did, or the ones that they shook me the most, after being there, I went to this place called Vedanta Academy, which is a school where they teach you how to use your brain. It was really cool. It's like how to use your intellect, the way we process thoughts.
Give me something from that. Like, give me a nugget, something you took away. What's one of the things that people could use, like how to use their brain? What's something that stands out?
So, for example,
Gracias.
It's just there's a difference. What's the difference between intelligence and intellect? Intelligence is the data that you put into your brain. Intellect is how you process it. Okay. Yeah. For example, they say why there are some doctors that are better than others if they go to the same school. Yeah. They were taught the same, because there are some doctors that they process the information in a different way, and the outcome is different. So that's the only difference. So over there, what they teach you is how to process, and everything is linked to your emotions. And the coolest thing is that every single thing they have is linked to the really old books of the Hinduism, the Vedas. And there is this philosopher over there, which he's still alive, he's almost 100 years. And he translated the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the holiest books from the Hindus. He translated into a language where people like us can understand it. Sure. And they gave this course over there of 3 years. The kids that are there, because I say kids because most of the people who are there are in their early 20s, they go 3 years in a row, no days off, no vacations, waking up at 4 a.m., sleeping like at 8, in a really squared schedule. Regimented. Regiment, reading and studying all the books of this philosophy. Wow. What I like it is that it's a very pragmatic and very, it's a concept that is very real, you know, it's not attached to fate. It says in the book, says this, what this means, it talks about attachments, talks about repulsions, talks about emotions, talks about traumas, and they help you aligning your thoughts in a better way in group discussions, in lectures. It's really, really, really cool, man. Interesting. Yeah. Wow. You can become a student of them by paying, like, I think it was like a $500, $600 for a week. Wow. You stay with them and you become one of the students for 1 week or 2 weeks. Yeah. So I went there for 2 weeks. Yeah. It was really cool because now I have the access to this information, and you can buy the books online. There are the books in Amazon, and you can just buy it, and everything you read, it's so good. What's the name of the books? Well, the first book is called The Fall of the Human Intellect.
Follow the human.
The Fall of the Human
The
Intellect.
fall of the human.
The second one is Governing Relationships and Business.
Yeah.
The third book is the Vedanta Treatise, The Eternites, is the one that I've been reading right now. They have the Bhagavad Gita translated.
Yeah.
So, and everything is done by this philosopher, which he came from a really rich family in India. And he said when he was very young, you know what? No, thank you. I don't want anything to do with their business. It was a transportation business.
Yeah.
I want to be a philosopher. And the family was like, you crazy?
Yeah.
The guy.
Imagine that. Imagine your kid saying that, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right. So you were in India for 2 months total.
Yeah.
Did you come back here first, or
Yes,
did you go?
I came back.
Yep.
I stayed here for 2 weeks, and then I left to Peru to the Amazon
3 weeks.
for 3 weeks, almost a month.
What did you do in Peru?
that was the hardest experience of my life. It was I don't know if the word in English is correct. The purgatory, like a purgatory.
Purgatory. Yeah, like between heaven and hell. Stuck.
Yeah. I found this shaman online, digging and looking around. This guy, which is a local person from that area, from Iquitos, which is the only city in Peru where you can reach only by boat or by airplane. There's no roads. This is in the middle of the jungle. You think this is hot?
Yeah.
No. We were over there at 43, 44 degrees.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But for the uninitiated, that's like 110 degrees.
It's 110 without electricity.
Yeah.
So no fans, no nothing. It's the reason I went there is because he comes from this lineage of his father, grandfather, uncle. They are all shamans, and what I went there is to do this program of 3 weeks doing ayahuasca ceremonies.
Oh wow!
And that's
ayahuasca for people that don't know, a psychedelic drink made from the ayahuasca plant.
Correct.
In Peru, which is where it's based. You can do ayahuasca in a lot of different places.
Exactly.
But like some famous people that have done ayahuasca, like Will Smith.
Yes.
It's funny. The whole slap thing.
Yes.
I saw the slap. I read his book just before it. And if you read his book, which was written well before that, did you read it or no?
No.
Great book.
Wow.
Like really long. I listened to it on Audible. But it is an awesome book. No matter how you feel about Will Smith, awesome. And you can actually, in the first 3 chapters of the book, it explains essentially why he slapped Chris Rock. And I don't mean like he hadn't slapped Chris Rock when he wrote the book, but when you read the first 3 chapters, you're going to go, like now I see why he did it. But then toward the end, he found ayahuasca, a psychedelic that lets you really get in touch with your spirituality. A great documentary, if anybody's really curious about this, on Netflix is called, I don't know if it's still on Netflix, How to Change Your Mind, with Michael Pollan. It's a book, and then he has a docuseries on it. But Will Smith is big on ayahuasca. Almost every, to be honest with you, the people I'm in this GoBundance community I talked to you about, high net worth men. The highest of the high net worth guys do ayahuasca. Yeah. It's not like a party, not at all, but not even close, right? But to explore the depths of their spirituality, not a substitute for God, nothing like that, but to like get in touch with whatever it is the core of your being is and learn from it.
Man, it's just words cannot describe it. Yeah. It's I remember that Vladimir is the name of the shaman I met, great person. Not a big speaker. The few words he said, direct, like with a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
I remember he said, "This is not. It's not like psychedelic. It's not that you see something is not there. It's more visionary. Like you said, you connect with yourself first, and you heal yourself. It's like if your soul gets out of your body, you see yourself, and it's like your soul slaps you and says, Jamie, wake up, man. Yeah. There is no need for you to be this way. There is no need for you to remember. I mean, you think that you are going to heal something, but at the end you end up healing something else, which was way deeper. And I was there and I did 9 ceremonies. And
these ceremonies, by the way, 12 hours?
No. They last like 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours.
You're like in another place.
In the middle of the jungle, 12 a.m., no lights, pitch dark, just animals around you. It's also scary, Yeah. It's like, I remember every time you do it inside of this bungalow called Malok. I was with my best friend, and I was with the shaman. And man, everything you hear, and in 3 of those ceremonies, it was the worst experience of my life. I died. You are 100% sure that you are dying. It's like, okay, this is that. That's it. I'm leaving this this planet, you know.
Yeah.
And suddenly you start, no, Eduardo, control it, breathe. Thank God I did I did another thing in India, which is called the Vipassana meditation. It's a meditation in India. They do it all over the world, but it actually was invented in India many centuries ago by Siddhartha Gautama. That's from the Buddhism, where you go 10 days in these heavy hours of meditation. It's 11 hours a day. You don't speak with absolutely anybody. You don't write anything. You don't read anything. No devices, no nothing. You are in this rustic room with a bed, a concrete bed in India, this really rustic bathroom, and they wake you up at 4 a.m. Let's go to meditate. So if you don't meditate, you do meditate there. Like insane, man, insane. And that was so far my heaviest experience. Yeah. But thank that I did that. It helped me out build character and not, I won't say control, management. Because you cannot control anything. You can manage it. So when I was about to be in panic, I was like managing pretty good. So yeah, it helped me a lot. It changed me in my core.
Tell me a couple, like, put words to some of the things. 9 ceremonies, a lot. I've done 2 psilocybin ceremonies, so mushrooms.
Yes.
Nowhere near as deep as ayahuasca takes you, but still deep.
Yeah.
What were some words to what the experience was for you?
Look, I went and dived in my dark side. That was maybe the main theme of my ceremonies, my darkness, you know. Everybody has their dark side. Yeah. Everybody has their demons. And I realized that my darkness is there. And it's going to be always there. Yeah. And I have to accept it. First of all, I cannot run away from it, but I also cannot run towards it, you know? Yeah. And it might sound very, very obvious, but for people who is not having the issue, it might be too obvious. Oh, why does this guy is an alcoholic? You just stop drinking. It's obvious. Yeah, you know, simple as that. Sure. But until you are the alcoholic, you need to know why, how, everything. Yeah. So I realized how lucky I was. I started feeling all this sense of love. It was a sense of love in your guts that it burns. It burns. It was so crazy, man. So crazy. Wow. Do you feel this connection with nature, with people, with my kids, with my wife, with my parents? And the shaman, he leads the ceremony, and he doesn't stop singing. The whole ceremony he sings these songs called Icaros, which are these songs with between Spanish, half Spanish and half their native language called Chama. Whatever he feels you are having, he sings something for him to help you out with your energy. It's man. You have no idea. I mean, I record those audio. I have it. I have the audio. Yeah. It's. I mean, if you listen in, if you've never done it, you say, okay, yeah, sounds like a very tribal thing. But when you are there in the middle of the jungle and you hear the snakes next to you, and
do you really?
Man, I something happened to me that if I wasn't there, I wouldn't believe it. My second ceremony. Vladimir said, okay, at 8 p.m. we see you there. We're going to start at 8 p.m. Okay. Me and my friend Eric and me, we went to the place, and there were like 7-8 guys in the bungalow. And the energy was like heavy. And we would just get in and say, good night. It was our second ceremony. We were there only for 4 days. Who are these guys? And me and Eric said, you know what? Let's get out of here. It's weird. So we went out, and I went to look for him. I said, hey, Vladimir, what's up? We were there. Where are you? Okay, yeah, we're going to start work. Give me just 40-50 minutes. I said, what happened? Oh, this guy over there was bitten by a snake. And I said, is the snake dangerous? Oh, yeah, it's the most poisonous of the area. And I said, you gotta be kidding me, Vladimir. Why don't you take this guy to the hospital? Right. No, I'm going to cure him. But he was like, sure, you know, like, it's
easy.
I cure him. Yeah, exactly, man. So I went with my friend, which he had phobia of snakes. Yeah. And he asked me, hey man, what's up? I said, man, I don't want to tell you, but this guy, the one that it was light in the floor, he was bitten by a snake. And no way. Yeah, yes way. So we went there 40-50 minutes later, and the guy was there, and he received this thing made by some plants from here, and the shaman told us, this ceremony, he's gonna be present, he's not gonna take it, but his father came, his brother came, and his wife came. And we all, please, we're gonna take it, and we're gonna transfer our good energy to him, because at the end the poison is energy. So with our energy and my songs and the energy and the whole thing, he's gonna get cured. I say like, man, okay, if he said so, you know. The guy showed me his leg was like this. Mm-hmm. His wife, she didn't took ayahuasca. She was just he was on his lap. His father, 70, 80 years old, an old guy. His brother, we just did it, man. His father, I remember, he was in a pain. I can describe it. He was screaming like in a pain, you know.
The dad.
It was, they have this weird connection. So I mean, he made the dad come because
this is crazy,
man, crazy. I mean, like you gotta be there to believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the ceremony came. It was a very dark ceremony. It was like heavier ceremony. My friend went through a really heavy trip. Me too. Next day, we wake up, morning, daylight. The guy was seated outside of his bungalow, and I went, "Hey man, what's up? Are you okay?" He showed me the leg.
Gone.
Nothing. Man.
Oh my God. Wow. True healing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
True healing.
Yeah.
Holy cow. All right. So then, wow. You come back from that. You're here. That was, so if I'm timing this right, that was probably like winter of last year. Winter of 2023 is around the time, like late fall, winter kind of thing. Well,
all November I went.
All November. So you're going in November here. You come back in December. I'm curious, I guess, like what, because you mentioned like, you know, you still had some doubts. Did I do the right thing? I can't believe I threw this job away, all of that. But like from that point forward, has there been anything that has significantly changed in your life as a result of that? What is that? 3 months essentially that you spent elsewhere. India. Like what's something that you say by doing all of this 3 months worth of meditation practice and learning and then these deep ayahuasca ceremonies, what has been the difference for you because of those?
Good loneliness.
Explain that.
Good loneliness. My social life has changed drastically. You know, I was a lot of going out.
Sure.
I mean, the work that I have, there was always something going on. There was always a party. There was always a party at these people's house. Let's go grab some drinks. That was ended. It changed, and it changed from my core. I don't want it. I don't need it anymore. It's like I'm done with that. You know.
That's crazy.
People keep writing me, "Hey, Lalo, let's meet." I just don't want it, man. It's out of my system, you know. I don't know, and I was reading this phrase. I don't know how to say that in English exactly or whatever, but
say it in Spanish. That's okay.
Well, it's that what I'm living right now. It's the loneliest moment of the soul. Is when you are changing from something you used to be to something else, and it's not that I want to feel better than something else. I'm just changing.
Sure.
And I have to accept that thing. And I need to start getting along with other people and people that is not with me in that change process. I just have to let them go. You know,
it's funny, and I don't even know how to segue out of this for whatever anybody's. This is such a deep conversation. We're going to segue. We'll do the final course, and we'll talk a little bit more about life in Dominican and a couple questions I have for you. But wow! But the funny thing is on this topic, so I think this is really relevant. People that are watching, a lot of people are saying, really thinking about moving to DR, and for some people, it is, I can do it. It's possible. I'm just scared. For others, it's like, but I don't know how to get out of the job, and I don't love my job or whatever. And I think one of the scariest things, I know for me, probably for you, is your decision was really fast. But if I leave, I have to make sure I know what I'm going to be doing for the next 10, 20 years or whatever. And what I've learned is, and what you're describing, I think, is you're going through this phase because you're ending what you were and the types of people that were around, not bad people, but they just represented a different version of you. And you're pivoting to another version of you.
Yes.
I've been gone 3 years from my job, and being outside of the confines of a corporation or a job, what I've learned is like every 12 to 18 months, you go through that again.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. Like I'm going through that now again.
Wow.
Second, third time in the 3 years that I left.
Wow.
One phase was quitting, and there was all that came with that. Kind of what you described, but less intense. Like you did all these trips and everything. But that was a pivot from, I remember calling my old work friends because that's all I knew to do, and I'm out of my job, and eventually it was like, this doesn't make any sense, into a new world. And then later it went from like real estate investor into brand, and then the move here, right? So it's like, am I the person that could be an expat? And that was a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
You're going to move to the third world, my
Yeah,
friends,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, okay, they don't get it.
Yes.
These people do, so I guess I'm over here now. And now it's going all in on this, the brand that I am or the brand that I'm building.
Yeah.
And that's another pivot. That's another having to put certain things down and interacting with people like you, with different types of people and so on. So it's really interesting how I think one of the scariest things when people are going to make a big decision, whether it's moving to another country, quitting the job or whatever, is there's a desire for certainty.
Yeah.
And what I've learned, and you've learned, I can tell, is it's actually beautifully the exact opposite.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes, I said so. It's just a matter of pull the trigger, you know, that's the most difficult thing. And most of the times, I'm not saying every single time, but I think that most of the times that happens after hitting your, whatever it is, rock bottom.
Yeah.
Either it's an emotional rock bottom, financial rock bottom. So obviously the idea would be that don't wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
But we as humans, the tendency is that you leave your comfort zone once something wrong happens, you know?
Yeah.
If you can control or manage that and do it just before that, that would be awesome. But at the end, it's also the fight or flight instinct that we as still animals have, you know?
Yeah.
So something happens, you say, or either I stay doing the same, like that phrase is crazy, is the definition of crazy is somebody that wants a different outcome by doing the same stuff.
Yep.
So it's either or you fake your rock bottom, or either you put like a due date for you to change. But at the end, what something I also remember, that it was a phrase that my sister told me. She told me, and I know it's also like a very common phrase, but at that moment it hit me hard. She said, "Yeah, I mean, it's one life. You know, you're here. What are you going? Am I going to die being the sales director?" Nobody's gonna give a damn about that, you know? You feel your little ego feels that you are Mr. High Roller, and you feel because you go and you have all these 200 people and you're making a lot of money, and nobody's gonna give a damn about that, you know? At the end, people is gonna remember me for first of all, my kids. That's what matters to me the most. Daddy was there, he was present, he helped me out. When I was crying, he was there to comfort me, he was there to give me tips and advice. Then the people that I work with is, Lalo was great because he was a good leader. They are not gonna say, oh, you remember the car he was driving? He was the coolest, he had the coolest watch or whatever. Yeah. No, it's different, more deeper meaning.
How did you make them feel?
How do you make them feel? That's it. That people will remember you not because how you treat them, but because how you make them feel.
100%.
Yeah. That's how people is going to remember you.
Wow.
Apple pie
Apple pie.
and the brownie with ice.
All right, brownie a la mode.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to do this? Do you want to like
Start half,
and
then
I'm gonna cut it so
yeah.
I'm not like drooling on your thing here. I'll cut some of it. Well, you keep the ice cream. You keep your ice cream.
Yeah, the ice cream is the same.
The ice cream is the same. So, all right, let's dive in. This brownie is very, very soft.
A ver, Jamie.
Yeah, put it there.
Okay.
And then you take yours. There we go.
There you go. Okay.
Ooh, the brownie's really good. Let me try this ice cream. This is not going away. This isn't gonna get off the table. This won't remain. Like the lobster was good. There's a lot. I'll share that with Eric, but no one's getting the rest of this. So as far as Mexico versus Dominican from a lifestyle perspective, a lot of people are America versus Dominican, so on and so forth. I know you've lived here a while, but I'm sure you go back or you have friends back there or whatever. What would you say is the difference right now? Is there a difference in lifestyle between, because here's the root of the question. There are a lot of people that are in a level of disbelief or uncertainty or what's the word, like skeptical. That life here can be as I'm presenting it, for instance, right? Tell me what somebody in Mexico would say about life in DR.
Well, I don't think that there's like a conception about DR in Mexico, you know, because if you want to have this tropical lifestyle, you just move to Cancun or to Los Cabos, for example, or
Makes
Riviera
sense.
Maya. So it's nothing known or even spoken. It's not. It's more in Mexico. It's more living in the States. That's like the normal. Yeah, exactly. Path of migration,
right,
exactly. But I don't know, man. I just like it so much here. I feel safe.
Is that the difference? Is it a safety feeling in
I
Mexico?
think so. Unfortunately, maybe even if it hurts me saying it, the safety part. I mean, obviously, at the end, this place depends in the area that you are. For example, one day I wanted to go to the American Embassy with my family. I was in Santo Domingo.
In Santo Domingo, correct.
And I put American Embassy. I just follow the GPS, and it took me to this place that when I went there, I never been in a place as dangerous and as really bad in my life. And I'm from Mexico City. I've been in real deal ghetto in Mexico City. And later, when I looked the place that I've been, I realized that is one of the most dangerous places in all Latin America, called Capotillo.
What's the name of it?
Man, I was scared. Scared. La Sursa. Era La Sursa y Capotillo. Y pasé por ahí. Man, scary. And I'm telling you, I'm from Mexico. I was in my car with windows tint. No, man, what I saw there, I'd never seen that in my life, you know? But it's the area that you are.
Sure.
It was a mistake doing by the GPS. You live in different areas where, like here, Punta Cana in general, I have always felt really safe. And there is something that I've never have found in any country in my life, the places that I have been. It's how Dominicans are. Dominicans, it's like super friendly, super cool people. I have found that Dominicans, they are truly happy people. I give an example.
Same.
I have a particular truck. I have a pickup red truck which is lifted. It's a very, I mean, you see the truck, you know?
Yeah.
If I were driving that truck in Mexico, I would be scared that somebody here, every time I park it, people tell me, God give you life enough so you enjoy it. God bless your truck. And you see from people that good energy and good vibe that they are giving you, you know? Like, imagine that, such a cool phrase. May God give you enough life for you to enjoy your car. Que Dios te dé vida para que la disfrute, mi hermano. Well, like, damn, man. I mean, hey, you should give me your truck for me to go to Montear to drive it. Yeah, that's like a difference that I only have seen with Dominicans, you know? Yeah. They're true from heart goodness, that they're like good people.
So you and I live in a area that's more prominent. Houses go for $600,000-$800,000, so on and so forth. We both live we're fortunate to be able to live in that kind of a neighborhood. Yeah. And I get the question a lot, or I get the comment a lot about, like, Dominicans are poor. And of course, there's poverty in the Dominican Republic. I know my take. If you go around the neighborhood that we live in, what's the percentage of it that's Dominican? What is your guess? I know you don't know, but like, what is your take? Like, of 10 people you run across, how many of those 10 are Dominican?
Right, English is higher than the one we assume, I think. But I would say maybe a 70%.
That's what I say. I say 60-70% are Dominican, and then 30% is everything else.
Yes.
A lot of Venezuelan, Colombian, Ecuadorian,
Americans,
Canadian, American, Mexicans.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's funny because I think there's a narrative that I heard. So I did this post today. It was on Conflitor. I just showed you it on Instagram, and somebody commented like, what did it say? What Dominicans? With the wages in the Dominican, how can any Dominican afford a $300,000 mortgage? And my reply was like, well, I mean, the statement in and of itself says that all Dominicans are poor.
Yes.
And like, there's a segment that are very poor. Absolutely. Yes. There's a middle class that ranges from like just above poor to like doing pretty well. But there's a double-digit percentage of Dominicans, I say 20, 30%. Where do you see the most income generated for locals here? People that are working here, like what industries, what jobs, what are people doing that you run across?
Look, man, in terms of jobs, I think that this is worldwide. There's going to be a cap, you know? Yeah. In terms of industries, everything I think that is related directly or indirectly to tourism. Right now, real estate is kind of related.
That is.
Because Dominican has become the last years to this oasis where Americans, Canadians, Europeans can come and invest. and invest in having their second home, third home, because out of all these third world countries in the Caribbean, this is the one that gives them more trust. I mean, it's you cannot compare the Dominican Republic to any other island in the Caribbean. With all my respect, you know.
No, I agree.
You go to Santo Domingo, it's a city with skyscrapers, traffic, the whole thing. You don't have that in Jamaica or Cuba or you go to St. Thomas. Man, St. Thomas is the size of Punta Cana, you know, the whole island.
The whole island.
You cannot find that other than Dominican Republic, and infrastructure gives people trust. People, all the Americans can say, okay, I can pull the trigger, I go there. I know that there are hospitals, you know. I know that there are school systems. So I think that makes the difference in Punta Cana, and whoever who can adjust their business towards that,
with tourism,
could see a good flow. I think I'm speaking only from my perspective, which is Punta Cana perspective. Because I'm sure that in Santo Domingo, that's another planet, you know? Santo Domingo, like I said, is a real city. There's all these businesses and law firms and financial things and blah, 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 blah. Which is, how many people live in Santo Domingo?
It's like 4 million, I think.
2 million?
Four. I mean, like, when you look at Metro, like Santo Domingo Este, Santo Domingo,
4 million people.
It's like 4 million in that area.
Yeah,
maybe some people say 5, but
it's a lot of people.
Big city. Right?
It's a big city, of course. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I can't give an industry, but you're right. If you're directed toward tourism and you were in sales in the hotel industry, a lot of people in real estate or touch real estate or do something in real estate or whatever. But then there's attorneys that service real estate companies. There's short-term rental management companies, like you said. There's a lot of these different industries where you can make money here.
Construction right now, man. I have friends that are getting into the development business, like building condos, houses. They're making money because right now it's hot, you know. It's hot, this place. I think it's a good where I was sold in terms of trust towards the Dominican Republic was in the pandemic. How you were not here, right?
No, we came just after.
The way, because I was comparing it with Mexico, because my parents were there, and I was comparing it with many other countries because we are a touristic pole. Man, what they did here.
What?
First of all, they shield the island. Like, nobody gets in, nobody gets out. Boom. At the beginning, you can say, like, man, it was. I mean, I could put $1,000 bet. That was one of the first countries in America with free vaccinations all over. I mean, you're an island. How come you're doing it? But I remember that was one of the first places where it was like free vaccination in the airport. You could just go there, even if you were not a local, even if you were not Dominican, even if you were like a straight tourist or an illegal, you just go there with an ID, boom, they shoot you. And the way they reopen, the way hotels work with the government, everything. I mean, it was. I think it was really good. Really good response.
There's one little fly that's been bothering me.
And you know something? Dominican Republic was one of the countries with less people that die out of COVID. You know why?
No, I was going to ask you why. I did hear that, but why?
Because Dominicans doesn't smoke.
Oh, that's interesting.
Check that.
Yeah.
Dominicans don't smoke.
That's true.
I mean, it's very rare to
I haven't seen one person.
To see a Dominican with a cigarette, like a Marlboro.
No, right.
Having a smoke. And when you go in the charts of the World Health Organization.
World Health,
World Health Organization. Dominicans were the ones that less were killed in the pandemic with COVID, and also is the country with less cancer, lung cancer, and emphysema. Because they don't smoke.
That's it. I've never, to your point, I have not once, I'm sure somebody is out there, whatever, maybe I haven't gone to the right town, but I have not once seen a cigarette. I've seen cigars, people smoke cigars. But never have
young
once seen
people vaping. But the Dominicans with a cigarette, it's very rare.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I was going to ask you something else about the Dominican. You mentioned the response to COVID. We talked about the how people make money here. Eduardo, where can people learn more about you? Where can they find you? The podcast, everything. Just tell everybody what you're doing right now.
Well, I have my social media. It's in my Instagram. It's Eduardo Diaz. Eduardo Diaz.83. That's where they can go. And I have my what's the name? Linktree, where they can click and they can go to my links, and they can go to my YouTube channel. where right now I've been, which by the way, Jamie was one of my mentors when I started on the...
We sat down.
Yeah, we sat down just before I started. And what I'm doing right now, I interview people that live in Punta Cana, which have an interesting story, you know? Something to share, something inspiring, something controversial, something cool. I interview them, and I don't know, I like it. And that's also where I'm trying to set my brand as a consultant, as a sales and leadership consultant.
What's the name of the podcast?
Cabezónico. Cabezónico. Cabezón means big head.
Yes.
You know, that's my nickname since I was 12 years old. So somebody said when I started junior, oh, look, the new guy has a big head. And I was like, damn. After 2 weeks, I was like, okay with that. And it became like my brand, you know?
My ex-father-in-law, so my mother-in-law and father-in-law got divorced. My ex-father-in-law's nickname is Caco.
Caco. It's also like a head.
Big head.
Big
He's
head,
from Palenque. So he's here. He retired back to the Dominican Republic. I saw him not long ago. But that's funny. So there's multiple names for big head.
For a big head, Cabezón. And Cabezónico is like Sonic, you know, like the word Sonico. So that's where I got it.
All right, Herman 311, what was your favorite part of the meal today?
My favorite part of my meal, I think that there is a fight between the shrimp and the fish. I really like the fish.
You know what?
Yeah.
I honestly was going to say the same things. Even though I had one piece of the fish. The fish with lime, as you suggested, really good.
Yes.
So I had my first fried fish and it was really good. The shrimp was really good, but I'll choose something different. I would go with the ceviche, specifically how we had it, the picante and the piña and the pineapple, but that was really, really good. So, man, it was fun. I'm glad you came out today, man. I appreciate you.
No, man, thanks to you. I had a really good time. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Cool. Herman 311, right here in Bavaro. Come down, check it out. They've got 2 restaurants next to each other. You'll truly enjoy it. This was a really, really fun meal, a really great conversation. And we'll see you on the next Grub with Gruber.